Welcome to ChiroSecure's Empowering Women in Chiropractic, the Facebook Live show for successful women by successful women, proving once again women make it happen. Join us each week as we bring you the best in business growth, practice management, social media marketing, networking, leadership, and lots more. If it's about women in practice and business, you'll hear it here. Now join today's host, Dr. Randi Ross, as she talks about tech, tools, and transitions. And now, here's Dr. Randi.
Well, hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here today. We want to go ahead and give a shout out to our show sponsor, that's ChiroSecure, always bringing you best the services in the industry. Make sure to go to their website, check them out. Great group of people, always there to serve you. Well, I am Dr. Randi Ross, and I'm your host today. Please bear with me. I have a little bit of a hoarse throat, but we'll make it through together. If you want to learn more about me, you could just put a message right here in the Facebook box in the comments. Any questions that come up, or if you want to know how to reach me, they will get me a message. Please make sure to love my show. Give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, and definitely let us know what you're thinking. Well, today we're going to jump right in, and we're going to talk about many of you that avoid new technologies, or actually we can even narrow that down, and some of you avoid technologies as often as you can. Huge mistake. So we're going to break this down into just a couple of little chunks to make it easier to understand. So there's different ways that technology applies to your business. There's the technology that really is your patients are not engaging in, and those are things like your whether we call it patient management systems, contact management systems, that are ways for you to obviously do your billing, manage your patients, variety of other things. There's lots of programs out there for you to use. Hopefully you're using them. There are other things that are like digital calendars, and we'll kind of put that in that services you, but that also is an interactive part of your technology for your patients. And these are all things that are very important. I have to say, just to kind of highlight the digital calendar, I often am surprised at how many people, for some reason, have been a little reluctant to integrate this. There's a lot of options out there. Obviously, different things will suit your particular business style needs. But if you've been reluctant to do that, I encourage you to take a look at what's out there. Things that integrate either into something that you currently use, or maybe it's an add-on or something totally separate. But these are the kind of things that people are expecting, and we'll touch on that in a second. The level of expectation of technology today. So there's a lot of things that you utilize to run your business. The one thing that I will always tell you is, don't be afraid to look at things, to integrate them in. And probably one of the other really important layers to that is for you to make sure that you're frequently updating. And the reason for that is a lot of times people think, well, what I have works. But often what will happen, and more frequently and quicker than we've ever seen before, is things become outdated and antiquated. If you wait till that point that your systems that run your office are outdated, then different updates don't work and different patches don't work, and you have all kinds of issues and problems. You might have issues with people being able to hack or access you that they shouldn't. So the more current your programs, your software and everything is, the more likely that you're going to run smoother. So it's one of those things you can't consider an expense You have to just consider it a necessary investment in your business. So it's really important to not think, well, what I have works. And that also includes if you're purchasing something that's used, also be slightly cautious. I'm not saying that it can't be effective for you, but again, things are, think about our phones and our computers. Everything, becomes outdated so quickly now. I had to buy a new iPad. There's nothing wrong with the one I use it when I travel. But because some of the different apps that I use, it could no longer integrate with. So I had to go out, buy a whole new one. Again, nothing wrong with the one I have, but that's just the way sometimes you have to think about things, is that the technology moves very quickly and you don't want to get caught flat-footed. And now you're playing cleanup with your systems, which is never a good idea. The other thing about technology, and I just touched on this a second ago, is that this is what consumers expect. They don't want to walk into your office like I used to walk into a chiropractor's office, some 30 years ago. And it was basically a room with some chairs. And then you went to another room, there was a table, and there was you can raise your hand that are as old as I that remember this, and you put $5 in a box when you left. No. If you want to compete in today's healthcare market, and whether you realize it or not, you compete in the healthcare market just like every other healthcare provider. You have to give the consumer some of what they're expecting. And what they are expecting is they either, when they're making connections with you, or when they definitely walk into your office, they are expecting technology. So they are expecting you to hand them an iPad to do certain things, whether it's paperwork or things like that. They're expecting your intake forms, for lack of a better word, to actually be on your website or something that can be sent to them, because they want to do this ahead of time. They want things to be digital. And when you don't, because other people do, they feel like you're a little bit behind the eight ball. Little things that people recognize with technology, believe it or not, everyone's got big flat screens, monitors and TVs in their office for various things. Don't have a little, I don't know if they make 12-inch anymore, 18 or 20-inch. I was in an office recently with someone that had some tests done, and we walked into the doctor's office. They had a 60-inch monitor that was showing the test results. And I mean, you could really see it. And believe it or not, subconsciously, you're impressed with this stuff, okay? So if you're still using, an 18 or 20-inch TV in your waiting area or something, go out and buy a new one. The thing with a lot of these things today, the difference between a 20-inch and a 40 or 50-inch is literally like $100. We're not even talking about a lot of money. If you've integrated technologies into your care and your service, whether that's different scans or posture analysis or digital x-rays or anything of that kind, have a nice, big monitor when you're explaining that to people, not where someone's like, leaning over a desk and turning and looking. Have a space where you can proudly display the fact that you use these different technologies today that are cutting edge, that can, easily have the patient understand what their body looks like, what's going on, and what your recommendations are that make sense to them. So we always want to be looking at what technologies are out there. And again, some of them are a little bit costly, but there are many things available today. I just mentioned posture analysis. There are apps for that literally, not pennies, but I'm going to say pennies in comparison to certain other things. And they're very interactive, so to speak. You can use them in your office. Everyone or almost everyone has posture problems. Whether that's something you totally focus on or not, I bet you could figure out a way to integrate it into distortions in their spine and their nervous system that you can utilize. And you can take something like that out into the community. They're usually an app like on an iPad or your iPhone or maybe, your Android device. And you can utilize it that way. So it really gives you a lot of different tools. So all these different technologies, things like digital x-ray, you have to wrap your mind around that people don't want to see, what they used to call that, wet reads, when they would come out and they'd be standing there with the dripping wet x-ray because they didn't want to wait for it. A digital x-ray today, within seconds or minutes, I guess depends upon how fast your computer works, boom, it's right up there. Again, whether you feel the need for this or not is not really so much the question. Excuse me one second. It really becomes a little more about what consumers are expecting of you. You want to look modern. You want to look like you are up to date, you are current. So anywhere you can integrate technology, from the time they walk in, again, can you give them an iPad? Do you have a computer set up? Maybe one thing we just did in an office I work with is we actually put a number of iPads strategically placed in the waiting area, and they kind of have this second waiting area where they have an open adjusting room, and we strategically place them so if someone's sitting there for some reason, they don't have their phone or their kids there and they want their kid to play a game, to be distracted, again, some of these little things at the end of the day may cost you a few bucks, but if it makes your patients more engaged, if it makes your life a little bit easier because you can digitally send something, if it makes you look like you are a current modern doctor, even if this is the only tool you actually use to do your job, please take this seriously. And don't be that person that's playing cleanup, that's waiting, 5 years from now or 2 years from now, when every single person is using digital calendars and things of that nature. Every single office is using iPads to take intake information, or every single office has, digital x-ray and digital posture now and all these things. Don't wait to be the last one in the game, okay? These things actually in the long run help you grow your business. Remember, it's all about serving more and making more. And technology today allows you to do that efficiently, but also allows you to even out the playing field in this competitive world of healthcare. All right, well, please take to heart what I'm saying. And hey, join us next week. Next week's going to be really exciting here because ChiroSecure, your sponsor, is launching a new program. So you won't just get to see all of us ladies every week, although we're not going anywhere. So it's a brand new pediatric show. And next week's guest, say that 3 times fast, is Dr. Monica Berger. I'm sorry, the host is Dr. Monica Berger. And she's actually going to have a special guest, like Dr. Heidi Hovak. Well, that's it for me today. Thank you for bearing with my hoarseness. Hopefully next time you see me, I'll be up and running as normal. And make sure to come back here next week. You're bound to learn something that will help you serve more and make more.
Join us each week as we bring you the best in business growth, practice management, social media marketing, networking, leadership, and lots more. If it's about women in practice and business, you'll hear it here. We hope you enjoyed this week's Facebook Live event. Please like us on Facebook, comment, and share. We look forward to seeing all of you next week for another episode of Empowering Women in Chiropractic. Now, go ahead and hit the share button and tell your friends and colleagues about the show. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day. This has been a ChiroSecure production.